Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. God will do it for you. My name is Steven, and I hope everyone's having a great week so far. This topic will be very direct, and of course, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but it's definitely going to be about just paying attention to the agendas at play. I've definitely felt compelled to make this video right now. I usually make them around 12 o'clock my time Eastern, but I'll be making another one today outside of this topic. But when you pay attention to what's going on in the world, especially in our country, and don't look at Democrat or Republican, don't look at it from that standpoint, because I know a lot of the news and propaganda, that's how they're shaping the mindsets of people. They're like, hey, this person is this or this is that. Neither party is perfect. And if anybody thinks that, again, just wake up. Just wake up. And I'm not saying everybody needs to be woke like it's being discussed in the news. No, wake up as in open your eyes and really pay attention. But look at the agendas that are at play, that are especially against the Bible. When you look at everything that's happened this year thus far, and then also just look at what's being pushed, think we have the border being obliterated. Migrants are coming in, which again, I have nothing against anybody, but when they're coming in at the rate that they are and being provided resources that Americans can't even get, that is a problem. When they're being given the right to vote without being an American citizen, that is questionable. When we're being told that soon, whatever the chances of whoever wins, they want to provide free health care for them, which we all know that if it's at no cost, it's at taxpayers' expense, which could drive the debt up even further than what it already is. That is a bigger problem. When we look at the LG community being power played into position, that's against the Bible, and that's a problem. When we look at schools now starting to teach pronouns, if this boy thinks he's a girl, then you have to call him a girl, or vice versa. That is a problem. When they're allowing sex changes for children, that is a problem. Same-sex marriage and all that, you do what you want to do. But when it's being pushed to make sure that this is the new norm, make sure that kids know this, that is a problem. We have to really open our eyes to the agendas at play and pay attention to who's pushing them. That's the way I like to explain it, because I'm like, no, pay attention to who is pushing these agendas. Even the fact that Paris had the confidence to do that opening. It's not more so the confidence to do something like that in front of the whole world. That is an agenda. Because guess what? Even though they did damage control because they were losing so much money that they had to do something, but guess what? It's already out there. That was intentional. And again, it's a mockery that goes against the Bible. The one thing that the Antichrist does is he will destroy us for having a lack of knowledge and for not being informed the way that you really should be. And it's a good chance that YouTube won't even push this video, because again, whoever's in positions of power, whatever system they have that scrutinizes these videos, they know what they're doing. That's why when I talked about the devil's agenda in my last video, it rarely got any views. Actually, the least amount of views out of all my videos. Because again, anybody speaking the truth about what's going on out here is usually not pushed, unless you just have a giant platform. At that point, your subscribers get to see that. But otherwise, things like this do not get pushed, and that's okay, because it will get to the right people at the right time. But when I pay attention to what's going on, and when I look at this country, and even the candidates and what they represent, what we need to do is pray, because this country, depending on who wins, we're moving towards a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. I'm trying to tell you, like, it's moving towards that direction. And when you look at even how some of the strategicness of the propaganda is being pushed, now they're paying social media influencers $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 to push a certain type of content out And all you have to do is research who's actually doing that. That is a problem. You know, it's a lot of things that people really need to sit down and be like, you know what? Let me just take this person and this person out of the equation and just look at what's being pushed. And this is why we have to wake up, because if we aren't intentional about our prayers and our commitment to God, you will be sucked into the world. Therefore, you will not be able to see what you need to see, know what you need to pray for, move how you need to move, especially with everything that's coming up, the way it's coming, and how it's moving in small paces as well. Think now the LG stuff has been pushed for 10 years. Think about it, 10 years. That's a long time. And now look how powerful it's gotten. And now, you know, certain parties know that the black vote was dependent on, and just in case we are not able to utilize that, now we have a backup. Migrants. You know, there's things on social media that a migrant left their receipt of how much they're getting for food stamps, and over $10,000 in food stamps and over $5,000 in cash, and think that's not even knowing what they started out with. And so you mean to tell me that we have billions of dollars that can go overseas to Ukraine, and then we have surplus money that can be used towards the U.S. citizens? Because now what's being exposed is that they could have done this all along. And that's what people have to pay attention to. These things could have been done all along. The money's there. Whether they're just printing it, whatever they're doing, the money is there to do these things. There's money there that can help the U.S. citizens. You know, you look at the main cities that are pro one side and look at the condition of the city. The money is there, but they're not putting it towards the people. They're putting it towards whatever agenda that is in place. And so my aim with this is to encourage more people to really disassociate themselves from the news and just pay attention to what's going on. Look at the economy. No more blaming somebody for anything anymore. Don't point the blame game. I mean, how many years do you need to do something that can make a difference? Look at the world. How much chaos is in the world. This is exactly what Satan wants. It's exactly what he wants. He is showing that I rule these kingdoms, and that if you're not on my side, guess what? The world will turn against you. Because again, that's what some of the things that are being pushed in the propaganda is that, oh, if you're for this person, then you're this. Or these people are saying, hey, if you're for this person, then I'm not, or I'm not. They're dividing people right before your eyes. They're dividing us. Before we know it, civil war or some type of war is going to break out from all of this. And that's not me inciting fear, because unless God somehow, some way disappears, which he won't, I have nothing to fear. But what I am able to do is be informed and see things for what it is. You know, ever since I changed my life last year, you know, ridding myself from anything, you know, that I didn't need to be doing, you know, God has given me the ability to really see things for what it is. You know, when your mind is that clear and you know how to maintain a pure heart and you know how to disassociate yourself from the right things, you'll be able to see everything that you need to. You will. And part of me feels like back in the day when people were able to hear from God the way they were, you wonder why? Because there weren't as many distractions as there are now. You gotta think, drugs and things are invented now. You have cell phones, you have news, you have all these things to distract you. Back then, all they had were humans entertaining them, and that's it. It's way less distractions, more time to spend with God. More time to spend with God. Yes, they had wine and things like that, but more time to spend with God. And so when some people ask, well, why isn't God? No, he's there. But how distracted are you? How consumed are you into your cellular device? How consumed are you into the news as to what's going on? I can't even look at certain platforms anymore because there's just so much of this mess out here that you're like, I can't even, I just want to look at regular stuff. And that's because we're at spiritual war. We're at spiritual war. That's exactly what's going on. It's this agenda versus this agenda. Hey, look at things for what it is. We need to be praying that this country repents and that God will have mercy on us when he decides to do whatever he's going to do, because usually God will allow something to get to the worst state before he steps in. It's like, okay, just look at it. Look at people and their circumstances before God elevates them. People will be at rock bottom. They'll be like, it can't get any worse than this. They're about to give up. Then he comes through. Look at Noah's Ark and what he did. You know, the world got to a certain point and then he flooded it. He didn't let it get bad just a little bit and then flooded it. He let it get to a certain point. God is very strategic in what he does. And he's allowing all of this because he gives us free will. But he is definitely paying attention. He's not just sitting back and like, well, they chose to do that. Oh, well, I'll just save my Christian people. No, God created this. And when he created man, he said everything is good. He said man is man, woman is woman. And everything else done outside of that is not of God. The Antichrist spirit is already on the earth. And people are making deals with the devil. They maintain power. And look at those people. They're not happy. The people that are on that side, they are not happy. But guess what? That power is so important to them that they will do any and everything that they need to maintain it. So what I'm telling you, Christian friends, us believers, us that are on fire for God, pay attention to what's going on. I don't care what side you're on. I don't care if you're like, well, I still won't vote for this person. I don't care. That's not. Just pay attention to the agendas at play and move according to what God and the Holy Spirit puts in your heart. And make sure that you stay in prayer. Make sure you understand what side you need to be on, because something is coming. God is not going to allow things to continue going like this. You know, there's end time, remnants is floating all around all of this. And in my heart, I don't believe there's about to be a rapture soon. But do I believe that there's a disruptor coming? Oh, yes. Something that's going to shake things up, that's going to shake it from the norm of what people think that it's going to go. Oh, yes. And that disruptor is God. And who he uses or what he uses is only for us to sit back and find out, and just to make sure that our hearts and our minds and our souls are in line with him, so that way when mercy is needed and grace is needed, hopefully we'll be just fine. Because again, God's plans are not to harm us. They're to prosper us. We just got to make sure that we are on the right side. So again, this is not one of my average videos. This is one of the videos where I'm like, you know what? I got to talk about this because people have to wake up. Look at the agendas at play. Look at what's going on. Look at what's going on. LGBT, whatever it's called, they're becoming very powerful. They're becoming very powerful. And that's why all these things are being pushed. Soon it will be, if you don't call somebody by the right pronoun of whatever they want to be called, you might go to jail. That is a problem. That is a problem. Especially once they start pushing it on our kids to make sure it's the new norm. That is a problem. Now the strategic move is to go after kids. Go after elementary schools, forcing them to teach these things. You know, how can you have a pride flag or whatever inside schools, and rainbows, which is rainbows of God, and now they've confiscated that, which again, just pay attention to that. How can that be put in schools? But if the 10 Commandments gets put in there, people just lose their mind. That is a problem. We got to wake up to Satan's devices. We have to make sure that we are aware, clear-minded, so that way we are not consumed by the world and this propaganda that's being pushed. You may hear it, but it will not consume you. It will not disrupt your mind. Because again, Satan comes after our minds. Pay attention. I'll have the next video out in a couple of hours. But otherwise, continue moving about your day. Stay safe and stay prayed up. Until next time.